everybody, and welcome to another episode of My Gay Divorce, where today we're talking about the very interesting question that faces gay men when they get divorced, which is, does failing in your marriage mean you've failed the cause? Now, if you're gay or straight, the failure of your marriage is a hard thing to take. I mean, I think that is the same for everybody. You love someone, you got married to them, it didn't work out, you couldn't make it work. I think that kind of heartbreak is universal. But there's something else that faces us as gay men. Maybe the best way to illustrate this is to tell you a story about something that happened to me. About 3 or 4 months into my divorce, I'd become a bit of a shut-in, and my friend Brian rang me up and he's like, look dude, we're going out tonight. And he was not taking no for an answer. So we get down to the local gay bar and I hadn't been out in a while and it just felt really good to be out drinking with a buddy outside in Los Angeles on the balcony, beautiful LA night. And I was having a good time, and it had been a while since something like that had happened. So then this good-looking guy comes over and he starts talking to the both of us. And I think he's interested in Brian, so I sort of stare off into the distance. And then he turns to me and he asks this question, so Carl, are you single? And I just stared back at him. I didn't know what to say. And as this long silence stretched out, Brian finally had to lean in and go, he's getting a divorce. And then the guy did the most interesting thing. His first reaction was a reflex. And he went, oh man, really sorry to hear that. And then his face screwed up and he went, wait, you got divorced from a woman? And I said, no, I was married to a man. And then it was like he lost his balance. He had to put his hands on my shoulders to kind of steady himself. And then he looked me right in the eye and he went, Jesus Christ, are we getting divorced now? And all I could say to him was, I'm sorry, I tried. So he kind of picks his drink up and goes, okay, all right. And he goes back to his friends and they give him the, so how did it go? Kind of, And he says a few words to them and then they all looked over at me like I had leprosy. It happened on more than one occasion that an often never married gay guy would make comments to the effect like I had wrecked it for everybody, like I had let down the cause completely. And to be honest, I didn't need anyone else to be saying this stuff to me. It was already playing up in here on an endless loop, like I'd taken a machete to the wedding cake of every gay couple that was about to walk down the aisle. And on my really bad days, and there were some really bad days, I wondered if I'd ever deserved the right to get married in the first place, because I felt like I'd done such a bad job of it. But later on, when I thought back about it, what I realized was this. When we got the right to marry, so many of us who never imagined that that would ever be a possibility for us, now we had this new thing that we could do. And so no longer was it about just meeting the guy of your dreams. Now you could get married to him as well. And marriage has always been painted up as this kind of like Disney-fied, walk off into the sunset, happily ever after thing. And it's not. Marriage is a lot of hard work, So when I get those kind of comments, or when I got those kind of comments, it hurt a lot at the time because that's what I felt. But in retrospect, I realize now that in a civilized society that was really truly equal and everybody was treated the same way, we should always have had the right to marry, which means we should always have had the right to have a divorce as well. Which means when it happened to me, if we lived in this perfect world, gay divorce would have been pretty normal by this stage. But it's not. I mean, gay marriage is, like 10 minutes old? And so gay divorce is even newer than that. And basically, we're astronauts. If you're a gay man getting divorced, you are walking into kind of uncharted territory. But here's where I've arrived at on it, is that I was in love. I got married. It didn't work out. It's not a crime. I didn't commit a crime. If you're a gay man getting divorced, you're not committing a crime either. A divorce is hard enough without having to put the responsibility of the entire cause on your shoulders as well. So let yourself off the hook. But I don't ever regret being married. there were things that I learned about myself and about relationships and about commitments that truly I would only have learned had I been married. There may have been other ways to learn them, but this is how I learned them. And it was no regret, because everything I learned in my marriage about having a relationship, I'll take forward into the relationships I have from now on. So don't be down on yourself for getting a divorce. You didn't let anyone down. You exercised a right that you should always have had. And also exercising your right to a divorce is something we should always have had. But you're on the bleeding edge of it right now. But just remember, you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you are going to get through this. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Go well, guys, and I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode of My Gay Divorce. Do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button, which I now know is on that side. Because getting published, honestly, is a social media numbers game. And the more people who subscribe, the faster I can get this book published and out into the hands of the people who really need it out there, which is your friends, your gay mates. And to be honest, there's so much in the book that's universal. It's kind of for any friend who's going through a breakup. So please hit subscribe, check out the links below to the book website, and I'll be back with another episode very soon. Cheers, hey.